to offer you this lesson from Unity of the Keys Spiritual Center.
Today, I changed this title a number of times because what I really wanted to talk about is befriending the mind. And so my last title for this talk is Make the Mind Your Best Friend. Prior to that, I was holding the thought that the company you keep creates your destiny. But it wasn't the company out there. It was the company in here. The thoughts that you're keeping company with create your destiny. In this most challenging and inspiring time to be alive, we are going through monumental changes on all levels and in all aspects of our lives very quickly, which is demanding us to turn up the notch on both our emotional stability and our spiritual practices. And for many of you here, I'm watching you. I'm inspired by you because I see that you are working it. You are putting into practice those ideas that you have been cultivating for many years and are now necessary just for daily survival, right? We have to practice a new beatitude. Here it is. Blessed are the flexible, for they will not be bent out of shape. We have to be willing to stretch, to keep our spiritual muscles with enough flexibility that we can shape-shift if we have to, without breaking our necks. Because we're in the process of a giant spiritual awakening, a time on our planet where for the first time we actually know how to take care of everyone on this planet. We have the resources, we have the technology, but we're not utilizing it yet for the fullness of all humanity. So we're in the process of learning how to discern what no longer serves us, ideas and behaviors, and what is integral to hold on to for the survival of our species. We're learning to know when to let go and when to keep on keeping on, one foot in front of the other with our eyes on the prize. One of the seminars I did not attend at Unity Village, but was very tempting for me, was a seminar on 3 different strands in every congregation, which they call traditionalists, modernists, and postmodernists. And there's theology with all 3. And what I found in just reading the description of all 3 is that I'm all 3. That really, I have elements of traditional thought because I really do rely on my spiritual intuition and believe God speaks to me, and that, there is this connection that we have with God-mind. And so pretty much all of the things that go with traditional religion, I'm all about that. But I'm not about some of the other ideas in traditional religion, like it's our religion and not yours that gets those things, and, everybody's not invited to our heaven, those kind of things. I don't like that. So I'm not really traditionalist completely, but those foundational beliefs, I am. And as far as modern thinking goes and the scientific revolution and having to prove things, yeah, man, I'm all about that. I don't take anything to be true that I haven't proven in my own life. It doesn't mean that I don't hold out to see the truth or to experience the truth, or that I necessarily have to see God face to face to know God exists any more than I have to see the wind to know that there's a lot of evidence for the wind, right? So I have some of those theological underpinnings that you might call modern. I don't want to continue to believe things that no longer serve me, or that are archaic principles for a particular context that no longer have any meaning in modern times. So in a sense, I'm that too. And postmodern, I used to give a talk called I'm an Atheist, because I don't believe in a theistic God. I don't believe that there's a God in the sky taking notes and counting my sins. I don't believe in theism. So I'm atheist, right? I'm postmodern. I love all the critics of religiosity, whatever that movie was. I loved that movie because it shows how crazy religion is. And I can be very critical of religion. I have a very critical mind. I am about in the 99th percentile for abstract thinking. So I do well with metaphysics. It comes to me naturally. So I have all three of those. I see no difference in them, really. I just see them as parts of me. And I think that's why I'm a unity minister. I think unity sets me free, to evolve my thinking and to evolve my spirituality. I was very happy to be back in a conference with my colleagues. We're celebrating our 25th year in ministry. And so many of them are getting ready to retire. I was one of the younger people in my class, so it was just wonderful to have a moment to be together. And to affirm that, the core of unity is inclusivity. And that the core of unity also is to practice practical spirituality, positive in our focus. We are responsible for the quality of our mind and our life. Each one of us. We are responsible. And to live a happy and joyful life, we have to take care of our mind. Not in the old school kind of way, like you terrible, very bad mind, stop thinking that way, right? That doesn't help. Don't think of an elephant. It doesn't work, right? All you do is think of an elephant, So we're having to learn to love and accept, to treat our thoughts and feelings, our own mind, like a friend. I wouldn't go down that road if I were you. Danger, danger, to hold the spaciousness for sadness, but not pitch a tent there. The mind is not the brain. The mind is not thoughts. The mind is a multi-dimensional construct that I think they have 5 different words for in Sanskrit. One is manas, and that means our thoughts and feelings together. Because have you noticed? What you think, you feel. What you feel, you think, right? They're related. And sometimes the thought is so strong, you start feeling feelings that you hadn't felt in 20 years. And sometimes a feeling can be triggered by a song, and you start thinking things that you haven't thought about in years. So those two are very connected, cannot be separated really. Here's what His Holiness the Dalai Lama says about the mind. The mind is difficult to put into check. It's swift and wanders at will. It's extremely subtle and can be hard to perceive. Let the wise person guard it. A guarded mind is conducive to happiness. So how do we guard our mind? in a time when we have millions of negative impressions, sound bites, subliminal messages, and unhealthy images implode our mind on a daily basis. Charles Fillmore understood this. He said, you have to learn to watch your thoughts like a chemist watches his solution. How does a chemist watch his solution? With curiosity and with a very focused attention to detail and taking notes. Note to self. Yeah, that wasn't such a good thing to be perseverating on. You know? I woke up with that same negative thought 3 days in a row. Maybe I ought to try something about that. Why are we watching our thoughts? To become more aware on all levels of what we take in. Knowing that every thought we think, every emotion, and every experience and how we interpret it is creating our life, is creating our brain, is creating our body. It's such an interesting time to live because we can actually watch the brain in functional MRIs. And if you're meditating and you reach a certain zone, your brain starts forming connections that make it easier for you to relax and to feel happy. And serotonin and all kinds of great things are bathing your brain. If you watch a movie that makes you anxious and you start feeling really anxious, your brain shuts down. If you feel anxious long enough, even if it's not real, if you believe it's real, if you're watching something that you think is real on television, your brain, after a while, will look like Swiss cheese. Your brain is so malleable. It's like Gumby, not marbles. We used to say your head's full of marbles. Not so much. More like Gumby, always, right now even, being changed. The most recent research is 10 minutes of meditation. 10 minutes of meditation, 3 times a week, forms positive structural integration of your brain. So, we become what we think, we become what we eat and drink. And that's at all levels, not just physical. What we drink in, what we eat, what we think about, what we take in, creates us, is creating us right now. And that's why they say in the East, the company you keep creates your destiny. The Buddha said, understand your 3 treasures if you want to make it on the spiritual path. You have a teacher. In that case, it was the Buddha. In our case, it could be Jesus. You could have many teachers in your lifetime. And then the other treasure is the teachings and the practices. You have to study and understand and put your pedal to the metal. You know, you have to work it. You have to do it. That's the Dharma and the community, the Sangha, the people, your spiritual companions who drag you to meetings and who ask you how your meditation is going. I have a friend that texts me, did you do your morning practice? Because we both said there was a time in our life when we felt the best, and that was when we were beginners on the path, and when we really were learning so much that we were just diligent about our morning practices. And then she shared with me, and then like a few years ago, I had to earn some kind of certificate in Sufism, and so I did this practice where I did it every single day, and I felt so great. And we were both laughing because why don't we keep doing things that make us feel really great, right? And so we made a pact. I'm going to text you, and I'm going to ask you every day, have you done your morning practice? You know, and it helps. It's just like having a workout buddy. It helps. We are each other's co-companions, and we can have a huge impact on each other's lives. Have you noticed? Some conversations can calm you down, reduce your fear, your suspicion, your discontent, and then others get you all riled up. So ultimately, the real company is what we're keeping in here and how it stays with us in our own mind and heart. And we can choose to think and feel and nurture those ideas, those relationships, those experiences in every moment that are going to be the most beneficial to us. One of my teachers, Reverend Roy Eugene Davis, who passed recently and was one of the first ordained teachers in Yogananda's tradition. He was very ill, and he read Autobiography of a Yogi when he was just a teenager, and they said that he was probably not going to live. And he ordered this book and read it in his bed, and then when he got well, I think he was only 17 years old, he got his parents' permission to go study with Yogananda. He said this: "An enlivening power is nurturing the universe, and we can learn to cooperate with it." Is that great? An enlivening power is nurturing the universe, and we can learn to cooperate with it. We call this divine mind or one power and one presence in unity. And so as we notice our own mind and we begin to befriend our mind, we can also attune to a far greater thing. We can attune to intelligence with a capital I, not just intellect or brain. So, a couple of things that are very important to do right now, because our brain is primed to remember negative things at a 40% more rate than positive things, because it's primed for survival. So anything bad that happens to you, your brain wants to hold on to that, because in case it happens again, then I can protect you, right? So that leaves a lot of really good stuff out. So you have to savor your happy memories. Learn to remember them. Be grateful for them. Notice them. Write them down. Write your good thoughts down. Focus your intelligence on what is going to be beneficial to you on all levels. And make a conscious effort to store it in your brain. Train your mind to be your best friend. Remember the good times. Be grateful for positive experiences. Don't dwell on what's not working. Stop, relax, and redirect any negative tendency of your mind, just like you would your best friend. Comfort, calm, encourage, and find the funny in it. That is the best thing. To just laugh at yourself, laugh at the world. Be happy in the midst of it all. Hold your center. A calm, loving, flexible, and focused mind is a great gift. Remember, blessed are the flexible, for they will not be bent out of shape. Thank you.